Okay, I want you sitting comfortably.
This is like a personal lesson.
Maybe for a while I was like, maybe it's just going to be me. I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. Oh, yeah, let's get those bum cheeks sorted out. Let's sit comfy as we can, obviously, always. And it's just maybe you sit back into your chair, let everything flop and soften a little bit. You could close your eyes if you want to, just for this first minute or two. And if you need to fidget or shift positions or make yourself just 1% more comfy if that's available, let yourself do it as we just start to settle down and ground in. So just not worrying right now about how you're breathing or what position your body's in, really, as long as you feel sort of supported by your chair and like your body isn't putting in too much effort that it doesn't need to. And maybe just sort of tapping into those sensations, the feet against the floor, the back or the bum in your chair. Maybe if you've got the window open, there's a breeze coming in, or maybe you can hear sounds sort of around outside, traffic, breeze, just allowing those things just to build a picture around you. So let your mind wander for a minute, let it just move around, just moving from place to place, from sensation to sensation. Just gently observing whatever it is that you notice or whatever it is that you find. Those sensations might be with us in the body. They might be stuff that's going on just outside of our body. Take them all in, or take as much in as you want to. And then just so you're sort of zooming into your body slowly, just start to bring your awareness really into just your body and just your breath. So we've had a little note of what's going on outside of us a bit further away, and that will all carry on. But we're just going to start to hone our focus in a little bit more closely on the body and how we feel. And it's at this point where you might begin just to let your breath maybe fill out a little bit, get a little bit deeper. You might want to take some deep breaths in through your nose and let your breath out through your mouth with a sigh. Just noticing the natural quality of our breath in the moment and seeing if there's anything we can do to make it just a little smoother, if that's possible, but being really kind and accepting of wherever the breath is at in its natural state. We're going to do a breathing exercise after we've moved. So we're just letting the breath come and go for now, and while we're moving. And then at the end, we'll just do a little bit more sort of a controlled breathing exercise after we've kind of had a little jiggle around a little bit. But when we do start to move in a second, we're just trying to keep ourselves just mentally connected to our breath as much or as often as we can. So I am absolutely one to sort of start with a real, like I'm breathing, I know I'm breathing. And then once I start to do something with my arms or something with my neck or something with my legs, it's natural that our mind wanders and we forget. And that's okay. I'll remind you, I'll remind myself, And then when we do get reminded, we're just like, ah, yeah, I'm moving my body, but I'm also trying to be a bit aware of my breath. And that's all we're aiming for, a bit of awareness of our breath. We're not setting the bar really high. So even if your eyes are still closed, you might just start to let your shoulders rise on your inhale. Just a little bit, just to sort of shrug gently upwards. And then as you exhale, just let them sort of melt down like they were heavy or weighted. Just letting your breath in, just shift them up towards your ears just slightly. And as you exhale, sort of then melting back downwards. Nice. And just keeping that going just a couple of times. Could be the most subtle of movements. It could be a visualized or imagined movement. But just starting to bring that body in as well. Nice. We'll do one more together like that. Taking the shoulders up. And then just softening them down. Just as far as they land. Don't need to force them down. Just when they stop, they stop. Really nice. So our first movement, we're going to bring a bit of either a bit of hand. We're going to bring either our hands to our chest on top, or we can bring the hands together just in front of the chest. So I'll show you. Wow, you might want to pick, you can choose which option. We're going to either, if you're choosing this option, we're going to open the chest and potentially an arm over to the left and the right side. So a bit like you're opening a door frame. So we've got the option of that, and you can do that with straight arms, but I like to keep my elbows bent. Or we're going to keep the hands at the chest, and we're going to just turn without the arm, so much of an arm movement, but we're just going to turn the chest in that same direction. You can move the arm a little bit if you want, or you can keep both hands planted at your chest. And the reason that I'm going to get us to stay either here or here, having something level with the chest, is just so that we're sort of reminded to move from here. So we're getting like the mid and upper section of our spine starting to turn a little bit. Because what sometimes it's easy for us to mentally want to do is either do just move the neck or let the shoulder really swing us back, but the chest isn't turning. So you want that nice turn of the chest, even if it's only little, so that we're getting that slight twist in our upper back. So wherever you're starting from, we're gonna, maybe we'll do one side and then we'll do the other side. So maybe we'll do like 3 to 5 open and closes, and then we'll switch, and then we'll see how it feels. So whenever you're ready, I'm going to stick with this version. So I'm just going to leave my hands on my chest. I'm going to inhale, and I'm just going to encourage my chest to move to the left. And then as I exhale, I'm going to bring it back. Just a reminder that that could also look a little bit like this, where the hands are in front and we're taking the chest to the left and we're opening that arm out a little bit with it. But just make sure that it's not just the arm that's doing the opening. Nice. So just think of like opening, like a door, opening at the hinge, and then closing that door. Good. And as we twist through that upper part of the spine, our legs and our pelvis, they're pretty stable. They're not twisting with us. We're just focusing on this top section of the upper back, of the chest, of the upper spine. Really, really nice. So I'm going to call that my 5. I always say I'll aim for a count and then I just lose count. And then we'll switch to the opposite side. I know this side's going to feel different on me, always stiffer on one side, loosey-goosey on the other. So let's see how we go. And if sort of breathing in the same time as when you move is a bit too much, then don't worry about it. Just as long as you're breathing and you're trying not to hold your breath, then that's a win in my book. Nice. Almost imagine, like, you know, when you dump your cloth in the sink and then you wring it out. I've got that image in my head. Lovely. So again, just taking maybe 3 to 5, but that's a real rough guide. And then just coming back, releasing your hands and just seeing how that upper back feels. We might want to do a little gentle tuck with our chin and our shoulders, let them move forward. So you just stretch a little bit into that upper back. Doesn't have to be a big old stretch. And then just alternate that between just directing your chest slightly upwards. Maybe the chin is slightly lifted too. Maybe a couple of those. I quite like you come into that slightly rounded position. And actually, I'm not going to call this a cat pose because we're sort of not doing the whole of the spine, so it'll be a smaller movement. But if you just focus on rounding that upper back just a little bit, and then I quite like sometimes just to have like a little wiggle. So I sort of move one shoulder sort of either forward or back, and then the other. Quite like just those little wiggles. And you can do that when you open up the chest next time as well. As you take your chest up slightly and your chin up slightly, you might just kind of do that little, just a little wiggle. And it just sometimes changes the sensation. Sometimes it doesn't, but sometimes it does. Sort of little movements to sort of work into maybe places that were a bit tense. Gorgeous. Really, really nice. And then just relax. Let your spine just go a bit wiggly for a minute. Or relax it back into your chair. Cool, cool, cool. I'm going to keep that spine focused today. Lots of nice twisty, ringy, outy things. So we're going to just pop the feet maybe a bit wider on the floor. So maybe think hip distance, or maybe even a bit wider than that if that's comfortable for you. Just so that wider stance is going to allow us to, in a minute, shift our knees left to right a little bit. Now I often, if with this one, I'll sit forward just a little bit in my chair, just so I can get a little bit more of a side to side sort of windscreen wiper movement of my legs, but we'll do what we can. What we might try is lifting up the toes, so it's just our heels on the ground. And then we're just going to take the knees towards the left, so they're going to sort of tick-tock, and then we're just going to gently look towards our right shoulder. So your knees go one way, and your gaze gently goes the other way. And then you're going to come back, and you're going to take it to the other side. Now, of course, if that tick-tock of the knees feels awkward in a seat, which it can do, what you could do instead is just sort of step your knees off to one side and then gently look in that opposite direction. So you could sort of walk your feet a little bit over and then back. So I'll let you, that's quite nice actually. I might do the walk-in feet version from it. Requires a little bit of a bum shift, so only if it feels secure. So again, we're just now encouraging the whole of the spine to have a little bit of a twist. So we've got the pelvis moving in one direction, and then our upper spine and our neck very gently turning in that opposite direction. So think like spiral, think like a coil. From your tailbone all the way up to the top of the neck. Lovely. I'm going to do one more on each side. You can come with me if that's feeling good, or you can take a little bit of an extra rest and we'll meet you in just a second. Really nice, everyone. Just coming back to where you started with the chest facing the front and the feet a little wider apart. If you did shift forward in your seat a bit, you might now just want to shift back just so it feels a bit more like your whole bum is supported. And just take a couple of breaths. See if there's any movement that's like organic that your body wants in between, or a sip of water, or otherwise we're just going to take 5 breaths. Not going to do anything different with the breath. I'm just going to invite you to sort of reconnect to it, just like we did at the beginning. Just noticing how you feel. Still keeping that focus, when we can, sort of honed in on this body.
I feel a lot more airy inside, if you know what I mean.
Ooh, airy. Hello, baby. I love that. That's a nice description. Amazing. Okay, so our next little movement is going to be a bit of curling of the spine and a bit of extension. So we've already, that extension is when we take our, I guess let's describe it as taking our chest away from our legs. So when we lift the chest or we do our cow pose, that's our spine in extension. And then we're going to bend as well and curl the spine a little bit more. We call that flexion. We're going to, again, a few different options. We're all seated in this one, but you can do, if you're re-watching the replay and you're lying down, and this is a really nice one to also do lying down. We're going to bring, and I'll give you a lifting the leg option and a no lifting the leg option. So we've got choices. We're going to bring our chest towards one knee. So we might do that by lifting up the knee a little bit and just sending the chest towards our knee. So you're doing like a little curl. So in this version, I've picked my foot up off the floor. So that's obviously going to be a bit more demanding. Our second option, if we're sitting down, is to maybe just pop that opposite foot a bit further away from you. So the leg's a little bit straighter. And then instead of picking the foot up off the floor, we're going to pick the heel up. So the knee lifts higher than it was. And then we're just going to take our chest forward in the direction of that knee. Okay. So that, and then when you come back, you would just sit up nice and straight and that heel would come down. And if you're lying on the floor watching this back, then we're going to bend one knee. You can hold on to it if you want, or you could just bring it in, and you're not going to curl because that would involve doing like something like a sit up, which we don't do on Friday mornings. And then you're going to release and let the spine come into neutral again. So I think probably it's nice to do alternate sides of this one, so one side doesn't get too tired. And obviously this one might be a bit more demanding on us, especially if we're lifting the legs. So let's not worry about how many we're doing. Let's just balance it out on each side and see how we go. So I'm going to start, I'm going to lift my heel of my left foot. And then I'm going to just take my chest down towards the knees. And then I'm going to come back up. And I'm going to pop that whole foot down on the floor. Then I'm going to switch. I'm going to pick up my right heel. See my knee like rises up a little bit. And then I'm going to just take my chest towards my knee. So what the little adjustments that you might make to make this feel a bit more comfy in your body is wider stance with your feet. And that just gives you a bit more room for thighs and tummy and chest. What I don't want anyone to think is that they've got to get their chest to their knee. Involve you trying to fold in half, and I really don't want that. But just think target practice, like you're trying to just direct your chest in the direction of your knee. That's more the vibe. And then, of course, if you're watching the replay, you've also got that option of lifting that leg, drawing the knee a bit in towards your torso, and then again, bringing the chest closer to the knee. With this option, it's our leg that moves more than our spine, or I find it is. I can bring my leg up, but then because of my tummy and my thighs, I've not got as much ability to move forward through the chest. But we still get the curl. It's just a different way of doing it. So just see which one, or maybe you just do a bit of each and see which feels the best for you. Really, really nice. And then just have a little rest of that one. Coming back to neutral and just maybe having a little shift of the hips side to side, or just resetting your legs. And then what we're going to do is just add a little extension, a little stretch in the opposite direction after that little curl. So might look a little bit like we bend at the spine, and then as we come up straight, come up tall, and we pop the foot down, we keep moving, so we don't stop at neutral, we keep the chest moving, slightly taking it up. And you can choose whether you take your arms with you, they can have a stretch towards the sky, or you just keep the arms down, but you're still taking that chest forward and those shoulders back slightly. So it's kind of like a cat-cow variation, but it's less of a sort of arch of the back and more of just a nice stretch upwards. I don't want you to sort of overarch that lower back. And of course, if you're watching the replay and you're laying on your back, then you can draw one knee into the body. And then as you pop it back, just take a nice full body stretch, like stretch as long and wide as you can on your bed, and then just relax your body back. So you can make it your own. It doesn't have to look, how boring would it be if we all looked exactly the same doing things? No, thank you. And you can think about moving from your chest, so your chest moves towards your knees, and then it keeps moving, uncurling, and keeps lifting slightly towards the sky. So it's just that really nice, slow, constant flow of movement through the spine, through the back and the front of the body. Nice, everyone. Maybe this is the last one. Maybe if it's feeling nice, you do an extra one. I'm all good, wherever you are. You are reaching the arms up, try and remember, just keep them nice and wide. Don't need to be all close together, nice and wide, like you're holding a beach ball or something big above your head. Lovely. Take just a little gentle roll of your shoulders, or a shrug up and a shrug down, if that suits you better. Allow your breath to be smooth if you can, allow it to be regular if you can. Take the shoulders in the opposite direction. Just winding them forward. Ooh, yeah. Really nice. Good. And just let the shoulders settle. Sit back into your chair if you want to. Eyes can stay open, or you might let them close. We're going to just come back to the breath. We're going to just do just a few minutes of breathing exercise. So we're either going to do, well, I don't know. Anything we fancy today? There's not many of us. So is there anything we fancy? Is there any breathing that we like doing that we've done before that you want to do again? Or should we just pick and mix? Should I just randomly choose something?
Pick and mix.
Yeah, pick and mix.
Random pick. Okay. So I'm going to give you two options actually. So we've got the option of an equal breath. So same length in, same length out. No pausing or holding the breath, but obviously there will be a natural pause at the end of the inhale and the end of the exhale, but we're not holding it intentionally. So we'll do a couple of rounds together of that one. Then we'll do just a couple of rounds of inhaling and then exhaling a little bit longer. And I'm going to give you then, once we've had a little go at both, I'm going to just give you a little bit of free rein, not for long, where I shut up and you just pick the one that feels good for you. The equal breath as opposed to the longer exhale. The longer exhale, if you're feeling like you need that extra sense of, like if you're needing that real relaxation, like a bit of a kind of not sleepy, but you really want to just drop any nervousness or anxiety down a little bit, that longer exhale might be what you choose. If you want to finish the class feeling nice and calm, but a little bit more maybe awake, the even breath might be what you choose, because it's that longer exhale that does the extra work on our relaxation response in the nervous system. So that one can help if we're feeling like we really want to feel like dewy and relaxed. So we'll do a couple of rounds together of each, and then we'll just have a little play with whatever feels right for us. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
Cool. So our first couple of rounds, we'll just let the breath be even on the way in and even on the way out. When we do it together, I'll probably count just so we've got a bit of a rhythm. But then if you pick that one and you do it on your own for a bit, you can sort of find a rhythm or a count that works for you. I'm going to say we'll breathe in for, we'll breathe in for 4 and we'll breathe out for 4. But if you find yourself thinking, Meg, that's too quick or that's too slow, then know that you can do it at your pace in a minute. Okay, so just let the breath sort of come and go a couple of times. I'll start counting and you can just join in whenever you're ready. So we're going to breathe in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. So let's just have a little break in between. And then the second lot we'll do together. So we've got a slightly longer exhale than the inhale. And again, if the count or the rhythm that I shout out is a bit off for you, it's really hard to find a rhythm that works for everyone because our capacity and our breath is also different. You just know that if you're going to go back to that one in a minute, You can do in for 2, out for 4, in for 3, out for 5. It really doesn't matter. But the key is that the exhale is a little bit longer. That's the key. Even if it's 1 count longer, we're good. So we're going to breathe in for 3, and we're going to try and breathe out for 5. What I find with this one, I sometimes struggle to keep my exhale going for longer. It feels harder. So you could the way that I sometimes help myself do that is just by pursing the lips and trying to blow the breath out a smaller hole. So it's got smaller hole to move through, so it naturally slows it down. Another nice way of slowing down the exhale is actually not to breathe it out, but to hum. So you could breathe in and then humming it out. Again, it slows the actual physical breath coming out your body. So it means the exhale can sometimes last a bit longer. So you might want to just note that. So we'll do a couple of rounds together, and then we'll just have maybe a minute where we'll just explore one on our own. So again, I'll start counting. You join me whenever you're ready. So breathing in, 2, 3, breathing out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, breathing out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well done. In, 2, 3, out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, out, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now just for the next minute or maybe 90 seconds, just explore maybe one of those 2 breathing exercises. Or reminding you that if your focus needs now to be away from your breath, if you've had enough of breath, bring it back to feet on the ground, back against the chair, hands on the legs. Just exploring your own version of one of those practices, or just letting yourself be free to rest. Creating your own little sanctuary. Really beautiful focus, everyone. We're just going to let that go now. So, however that was, just come back. Let your breath have free rein. Don't have to control it. Let your mind just start to move outwards a little bit. Start to send the feelers out into the room around you. The sounds, what you can feel. Maybe if you've started to blink your eyes open, maybe the objects and the shapes and the colours that your eyes are drawn to as you slowly open up the eyes. And we'll finish how we always do. If you want to just, for the next couple of breaths, just bring something into your mind that you're grateful for this morning, just like you're trying to capture it. Big or small. Could be really niche. Just breathe with that object or person or memory or experience like it's sat right in front of you, like you could reach out and touch it. And by focusing on something that we're grateful for, we're not bypassing all the hard stuff, we're not bypassing what's difficult, we're saying that still exists, we're not trying to hide it. But we're saying that even amongst the difficulty and the stuff that is hard, there is little glimmers that we can clutch, remind ourselves of. We'll take one final deep breath in together, in through the nose or the mouth, whichever's easier for you. And when you're ready, let it out.